This was the original idea to make what I call a zigzag ring. This didn't work too well. I tried making this thinner, and that just made it break in different spots easier. The thicker edge allows it, if the wood is weak here, it spreads open more. This was a bad idea from the get-go. So I've got another idea to try and make a ring like this, which I'll show you here in a little bit, using edge banding for plywood. I have no clue whether it'll work or not, but we are going to give it a shot, and we'll post the video if it works or if it doesn't work. So I'll show you my idea next. Okay, this time we're going for a straight cut. Now, I know I should make a new fence for this, but I'm not sure this is going to work. So I put it up against the nail, made the first cut. Put it on here. It's going to get a little noisy right now. I'll show you a couple cuts, and I'll stop it. Okay, I'm going to continue that down the rest of the board. These pieces are a little thicker than the last bowl I made, but we'll see how this works. If it doesn't work, we'll make a new one. Okay, so what did we end up with? The piece is 28 5/8 inches long, and I ended up with 99 of these. This last one isn't a full width. I'd have got 100. So if I'd have made this 29 inches, I could have got 100 of these. Now what I propose to do, which may or may not work, I'm going to take oak veneer banding, like you put on the edge of a piece of piece of plywood, and I'm going to iron it on here. Then once, if that holds real well, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each one of these saw cuts and I'm going to cut it on the bandsaw so that this would flex in the opposite direction. And we'll put that around a piece of MDF, 28 5/8, say 28 1/2. Should give us a ring approximately 9 inches. So I'm going to get the veneer, I'm going to iron it on here, and we'll see how that turns out. Okay, as you can see, this oak edging is pre-glued, very flexible either way. So now what I'm going to attempt to do, you iron this on. Iron this onto these strips, but it has to hold every last one. I can't have any come loose. And don't anybody tell my wife that I'm doing this, or she'll have me ironing the clothes. Okay, I'll continue to heat this and iron this on here. When I'm sure that it's good, I will, I'll show you the next stage. Okay, now I've left that glue cool. Now, the thickness of this board is only a 1/2 inch. It's 1 1/4 wide. Once I cut 1/4 inch off, I should leave me with 1 inch segments. So I'm going to take a razor knife and I'm going to trim off all this excess. The oak banding is 3/4 inch wide. So we're going to take a razor knife We're going to trim all this off, and then we're going to take this over to the bandsaw and see if we can cut this loose. Now, as I push this strip through the bandsaw, it's going to become very weak. So what I've done is on the back of the bandsaw, I've taken 2 pieces of walnut, clamped them fast to the table, put support here, put this piece of melamine here. Now as it pushes out, the melamine should hold it. So we're going to cut it and see what happens. Okay, as you can see, this is extremely flexible. If I had it to do over again, I would have made this a little thicker than a 1/2 inch. That way I could put a 1/2 inch, something 1/2 inch thick in here as a circle to keep this round. As it is, when I put a 1/2 inch piece in the middle, it's the same height as this. So when I put the ring on the top, I won't be putting pressure just on the maple ring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of a 9-inch circle out of 1/4 inch plywood and put this around, and if we get that to work, then I'll make a ring for the top and a ring for the bottom, and we'll have another zigzag ring. Okay, I made the circle. It's exactly 9 inches, but it's just a hair too small, so I put a gum band around the outside edge. I'll do this so you can see it. I think you can see it. Draw that tight. Draw that right in there. And bingo, we got our circle. Now I'm going to put a band clamp around here to hold this in place. And we'll take measurements and we will make a top and bottom ring for this so we can hold it steady and then see if we can turn it. So I'll show you once I have the ring made, and again we'll probably make a thicker ring and split it in half, put half on each side. I'll show you when I get to that point. Okay, there we have it. We ended up with a ring 11 1/8 on the outside, 9 inches on the inside. Everything worked out good except this last joint where it comes together. So what I'll do is I'll just take a real fine piece and I'll hold these in place, and I'll stick a little hot melt glue on this side on a little stick, and then we'll install the first maple or walnut ring on the other side. Then I'll take that back out when we put the walnut ring on this side. So, or I can even hold it with a little piece of tape. So now I have to make the walnut ring and split it and all that. So until I get that done, this has to wait. I forgot to mention, I couldn't use a band clamp because this wood is a 1/2 inch thick. A band clamp is a 1/2 inch thick. But where the screws are is over 5/8. So if I put a band clamp on here, the band clamp would actually stick up above the surface. And then that would give me problems when I glue the walnut ring on. So that's why I ended up using a gum band. And that wasn't the easiest thing in the world to get on, but I did get it on. Okay, I made the walnut ring. Again, it's just almost 1 inch thick. And it fits our other ring perfectly. So now I'll glue this ring together, split it in half, and then we'll glue it to this cut ring. Okay, I cut a 10.5 inch piece of MDF, the faceplate on it, drew some lines on it to match the inside of this. Now we're going to center this on the MDF and fasten it with hot glue. Now I'll glue this on the outside edge in several spots, and we'll turn the walnut ring. Okay, I have a trued up outside, trued up inside. It's critically important that this inside be trued up. So when we cut through evenly, and we don't cut through this side and this side's still attached. Now I'll split it in half. I have the center marked. Split it in half, and we just think about gluing it to the slats. Okay, we have the ring cut in half. Next we'll take this ring. I have those where it joins together, put together with tape. Put that ring on there. And we'll put the other half of the walnut ring on here, so we put pressure only on the maple ring. A piece of flake board, a faceplate, and a block, and we'll squeeze it. After that dries, we'll flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. I'll show it to you when I have it done. Okay, it's all clamped up. Leave that dry about a half an hour. We'll sand the other side, and we'll put the second walnut ring on. Okay, that's dry. Now the only thing left to do is just glue the other walnut ring on. And you can see where the piece met. I got the spacing, I got the tape off. So I'll turn it upside down, glue the other walnut ring on, and leave that dry overnight. And we'll true up this outside edge. And then all that's left to do is design a bowl to go with this ring, which I haven't made up my mind yet. So while that dries, I'll design a bowl, and tomorrow we'll start putting the bowl together. Okay, it's all glued up in the press. We'll leave it in the press about an hour. Take it out of the, then release the pressure on the press, but we'll leave it set overnight. And the blue tape is just on there to help me with alignment. I set it where I want it, and then I put the blue tape on, and then whenever I go back, I just align the blue tape, and it's where it was when I aligned it. So we'll leave that dry till tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll start constructing the bowl.